generally intact with what has been planned. But I think we also have some good ideas of how to regenerate what would be called Anfield Park, where the existing Anfield is, and I think that could be an exciting part of the neighborhood as well. So we'll be talking to the city.
Incorporate the old Anfield into the new.
Well, that's the plan that's been approved, is to have the old Anfield be some sort of park or regenerated area, which we think we can do it in a way that's great for the fans, and people want to kind of live there and play there and have a beer or two and some food and maybe have a hotel and things that would be, there are a lot of people would be attracted to kind of be close to the pitch there at Anfield, or New Anfield.
What sort of boss are you going to be? You'll be very pleased to know that the two people that we've spoken to who run your other sports here in Dallas speak extremely highly of you, but are you a tough boss?
Well, I'm a fair boss, but I do hold people accountable. I think the people that you talked to today would do a good job, and that's why they have their jobs, and they've had them a long time. But I think, we're very fortunate. George and I feel very comfortable that Rick Perry is the perfect guy we know to be the chief executive officer of Liverpool, and certainly everything we've seen about Rafa Benitez, we think we've got the right general manager as well. So we look forward to meeting with him.
The hot news in the English papers this week is that Real Madrid like the look of Rafa Benitez, and Rafa Benitez is making a few noises that he's not being kept in the loop by you in terms of his spending power for next season.
Well, that's just not true. I know I've exchanged a number of emails with Rafa. I know George talked to him personally last week. We've explained to Rafa, which he knows, and I think he's very comfortable with, that we don't own the team yet. We will officially own the team someday next week when the tender closes, but it would be very inappropriate for us to jump start and have those kind of important meetings prior to being the owners. We've actually set a meeting time. We're going to get together with Rafa the morning after the Arsenal match, when I'll have my whole family over. George is going to have his family there, and we're all going to kind of celebrate our first match together as the official owners. And we've set aside half a day the next day to visit with Rafa, so it's now the time to do that.
So at this juncture, at this point in time, he strikes you as the kind of guy who should be manager of your team?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the press is bad in Dallas because we only have two papers. If one paper says something's wrong, the other paper tends to kind of say the same thing.
It's going to be a bit different.
London and the UK, you've got, I don't know how many papers, but if somebody writes something that's wrong, it gets picked up by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely right. Are you going to be a Roman Abramovich of Chelsea in terms of, okay, Rafa, there's my checkbook, off you go, have a good time?
No, I've been in this business for 13 years. I've learned that doesn't work either. But our job as owners is to create the right balance of generating as much revenue as the fans want to pay, the sponsors want to pay, the media companies want to pay, and give as much of it to the players that you have to have a business that can go forward as a business. And George knows that. He's done it with Montreal. I know that. And the key is to have a smart manager like Rafa who will take a long-term view of how do you get better. I know enough in talking to him now that he doesn't want to do what you just described. He wants to build for the long term. We're not saying that we won't spend for transfers. That may be what we do, but it's got to be in the context of a plan that makes Liverpool competitive every year for the long term. And
yeah, but in the current climate, it's not unusual for people to talk about buying a player for 20 million, 30 million pounds. Does that not surprise you, that kind of level of investment?
Well, I think we've kind of budgeted a big number. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's part of Rafa's plan, but we know we'll have to do that. In the new stadium is very important to that because with the higher revenues Liverpool will have from the new stadium, we'll be able to compete with anybody.
Have you set any kind of goals? Is there sort of a 5-year plan? Or if it is Rafa, no, we want to win the Champions League and the league title and the FA Cup in year one, please?
Yeah, I'm like a lot of sports owners. You probably wouldn't be a sports owner if you weren't a sports fan. If you're a sports fan, you've got to be an optimist, and I'm both. So I want to win every year. I mean, in America right now, we're getting ready to start baseball season. During the spring, every team thinks they have a chance to win the World Series championship, and my team's really good this year. We think we're going to win it, but there are 30 other guys think the same thing. But our goal is to be competitive and have a chance to win it every year. Same with hockey. So I think the idea is to stay with a stable plan that's a smart plan, not just for 1 year, but for multiple years, where you can, and that Liverpool should be a dominant team every year, that with the history and the fan base we have, and with the new stadium, the revenues we'll have, and the long-term media revenues we have, we should be one of the dominant teams. And
the things you said there has sort of sparked loads of thoughts. The first one is, of course, here you have a salary cap. Now,
not in baseball.
But in other sports, there is a salary cap, and there's a kind of a, equality of money as well. That doesn't exist in England, so how are you going to cope with that?
Football in England is very similar to baseball in the United States. There's no salary cap, and the big boys spend the most, and they usually are the most competitive, but they only do it if they're smart. Spending money by itself doesn't win championships. You have to be smart, and the key to us is Rafa, Rick Perry, the plan that they will put together that'll make us good, not only for next season, but for the following seasons.
So there should be some good news for Liverpool fans. Their key players, like Steven Gerrard, for instance, will be locked in for long-term contracts, that kind of stuff.
That's certainly my goal,
yeah.
And I think that's Rafa's goal, and I think we'll hear that when we meet here.
The other important aspect of your sports interest here is your pivotal role in the community, your social responsibility. That's something that you're presumably going to adopt in Liverpool as well?
Well, I think we take seriously the opportunity to be partners with the city in doing something in Anfield Park after the new stadium is built. I think there's a wonderful opportunity to provide regeneration that will improve the neighborhood. I think it can make it better for our fans to have more buzz and activity and things happening around the stadium. Young people kind of like to live and play. We're kind of close to where the action is, and I think it doesn't have to be on match day. It could be, just knowing that the cathedral that they play in is next door. People just want to be there, and I think there's a real opportunity that we can regenerate the Anfield Park.